One,
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 two,
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 three,
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 four,
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 five.
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 So the combination is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the stupidest combination I've ever heard in my life. That's the kind of thing an idiot would have in his luggage. Let's go right into this. Yeah. Welcome to the Burning Ewok Podcast. This is episode 13, Lucky 13, where I'm your host.
13?
Should we skip 13?
No. It's episode
13's a lucky
13.
number.
You know, like hotels.
No, this is going to be a Lucky 13,
Yeah.
where I'm your host, Justin Granson, and with me as always is...
Chuck Fisher.
And Dan.
Hey, Dan. Hey, Chuck.
Dan,
How you guys
how you
doing?
doing?
I'm
Great.
I think we just get right into it. What do we do? Let's get into it, huh?
Wait, can I plug the Stevens Point Premium Kitty Cocktail Soda? I ran through Stevens Point on my way back home from my dad's house.
Yeah. Does it have alcohol in it, or is it
No, it doesn't. But I
Oh.
picked up 3 packs of sodas, so I get the vanilla cream, the root beer, and the kitty cocktail.
Well, you know what? Next time I go through, I'll have to pick some up.
Cool.
They had like 10 different flavors. It was good. But
Amazing.
yes, let's get into it.
Let's
Yeah,
get
let's
into
do
it.
it.
All right, so here we are.
Episode 5.
Episode 5 of The Acolyte. We're just going to talk
The
about it. We're
Acolyte.
going to go. And I just want to sit back and hear you guys complain about it. So go ahead. Who wants to start?
Episode 5 doesn't really have a lot to complain about.
Oh,
really.
wait. So we're like seeing that the show's like moving on and it might be getting better and not like judging it all the way right away? Is that what's going on?
No, I mean there are some things you could point out.
Okay.
I got one issue with it, right? But let's get to that a little later. My issue with the episode, right? It was really towards the end. It was like, so I'll give you my take on the episode, and it's kind of like where it was going before the episode started was kind of just a mess. And then, boom, it picked up where episode 4 left off and took a hard left turn into darkness, and that's where it shined, right? It stopped trying to be cheesy, trying to be, Disney, and it went hardcore really fast. A lot of shocking moments, I think, in the episode. And I mean, honestly, we should open up this episode with a little Limp Biscuit, Let the Bodies Hit the Floor, man, because the Jedi bodies were hitting the floor left and right, and nobody was really immune.
So we're going hardcore spoiler heavy, as everybody knows. No secret about it. So turn it off now if you don't want to know. Late in our episode, because late in the episode, we see that there's a whole bunch of red shirts walking in. And we all thought, okay, those are red shirts. Those are the Jedi who are definitely going to get killed. And, we expected to get the reveal, which was not really a surprise. It was expected it was going to be Kamir. If it was anybody else, it would have been a surprise. But the surprise of the episode is we lost my favorite character, and Yord. and I like Yord. I don't dislike Yord. But Jackie went down like a boss, and Yord went down pretty good too. Like they all went down really good. It was stuff that we didn't get in prequel Star Wars as far as action goes. This is like the stuff that I wanted in episodes 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, we got the Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon against Maul battle, but this was like lots of different Jedi with lots of different fighting style, lots of different fun. I just really, really enjoyed it. Like and I was bummed it was only another short episode. So, but it was wall to wall. And what little complaints, and there are some complaints I could make myself too. It's no worse than any other thing I've ever watched in Star Wars ever before. So, absolutely love this episode. Absolutely love where the show's going right now.
I was thinking about this actually today. If you took away all the internet, if you took the internet away, and this was just aired in the 90s, right, where you didn't have like all these voices talking, would we be as I think we would. I think we'd forgive a lot more than we are right now. I think you said that the other day where we were discussing this online, and that a lot of it is just a lot of people are just being hateful for the sake of getting clicks, and it's and like I said last week when I was watching it, there's still moments where you're just like, oh, this is Star Wars, and it's so cool because Star Wars has been part of our culture since we were kids, and even if there are nitpicky things that we could nitpick at, and I think the show does have a lot of misses, but at the end of the day, it's still Star Wars. It's still that fun. And then in this episode, a little dark, but it was still awesome. Like
it was a lot of dark.
Colors.
Well, I think you're probably right. I mean, if anything, the internet has taught us that everybody has a voice, and probably not everybody should have one, and maybe even us too. I mean, look at us. We're giving our opinions out on the interwebs, same as anybody else, But I think we're also just as open to criticism as anybody else that gives criticism too.
Yeah,
so
I mean, we're not trying to get clicks with like
no
hateful spew or anything.
No. And a lot of these sites have said, like, dude, this show is killing it for us. Like that critical drinker guy. Like there's a subreddit for that guy, because I went down deep on that rabbit hole, and they're like, dude, the hate is flowing. It is, and if you saw the Forbes article I sent you guys, there's literally like 25,000 reviews for the Acolyte's first 4 episodes. Yep. Or maybe that was even 3 at the time. I'm not sure. It doesn't matter, because it's more than all the Mandalorian episodes combined for 3 seasons, plus like 2 other shows. And if you combined everything, and that's not natural.
Well, you could point out and say that that's errant, but you could also say that while people are really passionate about this one and they really, really hate it, so more and more people are. Because I've never put a review on Rotten Tomatoes.
But you're not part of a militia that's online that's going to go and, hey, this is the site we need to go and hit, and we're just going to keep hitting this and creating accounts and just review bombing it, which is what is happening.
I don't know. That I don't know. But I would be. I don't know that these people. Do you think these YouTube channels have that many followers that they could do this much damage?
Dude, look at Blizzard and what has been done with, like, when people get pissed about things or decide that they want to, gear up.
Yeah.
So here's what my thoughts on it. Like, one, absolutely, I think it's without question that it has been review bombed, right? I think my only skepticism would be, like, how many people actually review bomb it. Like, and I only say that because, like, when you look at online propaganda campaigns in this day and age, like, let's just go, I don't want to get too political, but if you look at COVID misinformation, it's like almost every single anti-COVID, anti-vaccine meme or whatever has been traced back to like 5 originators.
It's the same thing. Dan, no, you're right. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. But it does perpetuate ideas and puts it in people's heads, similar to, like, I want to see this go in 2nd season. I want to see it go in 3rd season. I want to see it grow and become more and reach its potential.
I don't think review bombing or ratings will keep any show on a major streaming network from moving forward, because they have real data on who's watching and how often it's watched, right? So they know what brings in and what gets people to tune into their streaming and what sells subscriptions. And it's not, review bombing. It doesn't impact it at all. And I think the real proof of that is the new Jessica Alba movie on Netflix, which is supposed to be just god awful. It has like a 20 aggregate, rotten score from actual reviewers, and like the audience member score is really low too. But it is like number 2 streaming on Netflix or something like that, right? So they'll know what sells and what isn't, right? And reviews don't matter as much as people think.
True.
But I think ultimately the only question I have is how many people are actually doing the review bombing, or is this a bot campaign? Is it or is it truly a word of mouth spreading from hate videos? I'm sure there's some of that in there, which people are entitled. If you want to go in and you buy into somebody say, hey, it sucks, and you don't want to watch it and you want to just go vote it sucks, it's all you God bless, go do whatever the hell you want. It's just noise to me, right? Ultimately, I'm going to guess the number of people who actually absolutely hate it enough to go and say this is the worst thing ever on Rotten Tomatoes that have watched it is probably low. Do a lot of people think it's meh and very average and probably not worthy of a season 2? It's probably more middle ground. A lot of people, I'd probably say like 60% of people are like, yes, give me a season 2 already, right? Especially after last night, probably shot up to like 75%. So I think it's a big minority of people who are actually either responsible or actually doing this, the review bombing, right? That's my take on it. So that's what I think. I don't have enough hate for the series as a whole.
No,
way.
but I mean that's not what this podcast is about either.
No.
We wouldn't be doing this podcast if you were the type of guy that had enough hate that you'd be putting up bots and review bombing television shows as a hobby.
Yeah. Well, let's keep talking about this episode, and then I want to revisit the whole series as a whole because I did go rewatch the first 4.
Good. So,
So can I give you my favorite parts, and then I'll give you my one issue and my one part that made me roll my eyes.
the floor is yours.
Yeah,
Right.
do it.
So, Chimera, that dude, really, really good. I think he was in the actors in was in Top Gun. I think
He was in Top Gun and in The Good Place.
Yeah, he's. Oh, I never saw The Good Place.
Oh, he was great in The Good Place.
That's the one where they're in heaven or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, with Ted Danson.
Like that a lot.
No, it's The Good Place. It's not the bad place.
Yeah.
And it's not the good doctor or the good wife or the.
I know, but you said it was the same universe.
I'm telling you, there's a good universe out there. Anyway, go ahead.
He's great. That by far stole the show. I think the lightsaber scenes. It brought me back to Phantom Menace and the Duel of the Fates because it just kind of crammed that whole scene there crammed into the rest of that movie, which I don't have as many problems as everybody else does with that episode. People our age had a lot of problems with episode 1. But Duel of the Fates is by far like the coolest. That's the one that sold the
It's
rest
top
of
notch.
that.
It's top notch.
Yeah, without a
That's
doubt.
what this episode is. It's just one big Duel of Fates for me. And I thought the way they had Chimera, I don't know if that's really his name or not. He said he has no name, but I will just call him Chimera for now. Like when he takes May and just flicks her out of the way. That was really freaking cool. I thought the tree scene where he throws the lightsaber and it cuts down the 3 trees and they all cut down, a little overdone, but still cool. I thought I wasn't surprised by anything other than Jackie and Yor dying. Everything else went almost to a T how I thought it would go. I knew the bugs were going to come out and play a part into it. I didn't know how. I thought it would have been cooler if they chased May and Yord back to the ship. But I think it was kind of cool how they used it just to distract him and make their escape. I just about got out of my chair and called May and ship. What's her name?
OSHA.
OSHA. Thank you. Switching places. I almost called Parent Trap right away. I'm like, dude, they're gonna Parent Trap, which is what they did. That's my issue. I think it's dumb. We all know she's got a big freaking thing on her forehead, and it only took like 2 seconds for Chimere to see that she didn't have it, and the difference between the two when they came face to face. Right, you could see it from just across the screen. So that's my issue. I liked the way Jackie died was pretty freaking awesome. Have we seen anybody use it like that before? The lightsaber
break off a smaller lightsaber from the main. That's a first.
Yeah, in the 3, it was like boom, 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 right?
Yeah,
and it kind of reminded me a little bit of the death of the Night King and Game of Thrones. I almost thought that we were gonna get a drop the lightsaber doom, but I think they did that in the last 3, right? Somewhere I think Kylo Ren did that or something. But
during the Praetorian in the throne room. Yeah.
So I thought it was all really good. Of course, Basil made me roll my eyes because I think that was pretty predictable too, how that was going to roll. I think next episode for sure, he's going to be the one that outs May as not being OSHA, right?
See, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure about that.
I think that Soul is so shook. You know, he should have felt that wasn't OSHA, that it was May. But he's so shook because of what he just witnessed. He's like, we just got to go. He doesn't even stop and take a time to bury the dead, which we know Luke took time to burn Vader's corpse. We know that it's not like Jedi to just leave their fallen comrades. At least I don't think it is. Maybe in the High Republic times they hadn't battled anybody in so long. Maybe, I don't know, but it just seemed like he was so shook. He wasn't thinking straight. He wasn't, and I think that's where Basil's like, she doesn't smell like the other one.
Yeah, so, he knows what's up. But at the same time, also, he did mention "Where's your sister?" instead of "Where's May?" He has never referred to him that way, so that was a little off also. But I'm more of the he's shook. He lost his Padawan. Everything happened because of what he did in the past. This is sins of the past catching up to them, and he's broken at this point.
Which now it really does beg the question. There was a lot more going on in that castle than what we saw originally.
Exactly.
So stick with this one because I'm going to unpack the other ones too. I got 2 pages of notes from there.
Nice. I love it. He's coming with notes and receipts. I love it. So the things that you talked about, I like Basil. I think I'm the only one here that actually finds Basil fun. No problem with Basil. I like goofy small things like the little guys in Mandalorian and even in Episode 9 that work on the robots.
Yeah.
I like those guys. I like the little guys. I like Salacious Crumb. I like the goofballs. Salacious
Crumb is great.
That's all Star Wars for me. That's what that is. I don't even dislike Ewoks. Fine with it all. Whatever. It's all Star Wars. But I like the Parent Trap. I like that because where I predict this show to go now is May becomes now May's stuck with I don't think it's going to be a long time. I don't think we're going to spend an episode with May trying to hide that she's not OSHA. I think we spend 5-10 minutes.
No.
I mean, the reveals of these things, we know what's going to happen and they let it happen and the surprise comes somewhere else. So I think the Acolyte now becomes OSHA. Because now OSHA's going to get fed everything that May's been fed all these years. OSHA, May is also now going to see the other side of things. They're both going to see those things. Then we're going to get the episode that's going to reveal what really happened. And then we have our 8th episode, which is going to be like the final battle, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I like that. I think it's a good touch because it allows that reveal and those characters to see everything at the same time, and we don't have to go through it twice. I think it's pretty smart writing. I like it. I don't think I don't think as far as being a trick though, it's going to be something that lasts. And obviously, Darth, what Smilo Ren, I think he was being called on the internet. What he knows that that's OSHA. There's no trick there.
Yeah, he knows.
So it's like, so I don't think you trick one side and trick the other. I think in parallel they'll come out. I like that.
Do you think May's gonna try and kill Soul?
Soul's gonna die. Soul's gonna die. No doubt. Soul dies. Yeah. Like this is pure Rogue One. It has to happen. Yep. And one of the fears I had was, okay, they're gonna have to kill all these characters that know about this. And if they don't, then you start running into some issues. But then, of course, you could, they get separated, whatever. Because Ki-Adi-Mundi, he's an idiot. Did a lot of research. Actually, my son came to me and he's like, "No, actually, Dad, let me tell you about Ki-Adi-Mundi. Everybody hates Ki-Adi-Mundi. He's the idiot. He is like, if it wasn't for Krell, who in the Clone Wars is a Jedi who goes dark and starts killing other Jedi during the Clone Wars." Big dude with like 4 arms or whatever. Dan, you nod your head. Think you know who I'm talking about? No? Okay. Anyway, Ki-Adi-Mundi in the Legends, so this isn't canon, but in canon, or in Legends, there was a book about Order 66. It came out like 2010 or whatever, and it didn't get pulled into Legends or canon, but when the clones turn on him, everybody's like, one of the clone sergeants, forget his name, he's like, yeah, I felt bad about what we did, but not for Ki-Adi-Mundi. He was a jerk. Like, nobody liked him because he was super arrogant, always thought he was saying what he was doing, and he was always wrong. So he's very arrogant, and like one of the things that he says earlier in the episode, or in the previous episode, was, how could somebody not know what their master's face looks like? That's ridiculous. How preposterous. Talking about how preposterous that would be. It's just like, well, no, we actually have a situation where it's happening. And in Phantom Menace, we've got Ki-Adi-Mundi saying, how can we have Sith? They haven't been around. They've been gone for the millennia. There's no way, idiots. And he's like the representation of what's going wrong with the Jedi. So, Great inclusion there. Things that I don't like about the episode. Yord getting cut in the leg and then, I'm all good. I mean, I suppose you could have had like some little force, like, Yord needed to just chill for 5 seconds and then his health bar moves up. He's a Jedi, whatever. But give him a limp at least. When he's running around.
And I loved through the forest.
I guess, okay, all right, well, good. And I mean, he did say, I'm fine. He's fighting through it. I did like that his character showed actual fear. Like, he did not turn off that lightsaber, and he was shaken by what he just dealt with when they asked, what is that thing? He's like, I have no idea what that is. It gets in your head. I'm freaked out. Don't know what to do about this. And he's just like, whoa, what do we get? But still goes down bravely, Favorite thing in the episode? Cortosis. The metal that shorts out the lightsabers. That's something that they put in some of the comics and everything, and having the gauntlet and the helmet made out of it made for some excellent battle choreography. Just absolutely next level. That just made me so happy. How come?
It was because if you don't know the background of that from the comics, you don't really know what's going on. I had to look up because I thought that he had just destroyed the lightsabers, and all of a sudden they started freaking working again. I was super confused. I had no clue what was going on until I read it this morning.
Well, if you watch it again, though, you'll see he clearly headbutts the blade of the lightsaber and then hits the other one with his gauntlet. Yord, when he comes in, actually picks up the helmet and smacks his lightsaber.
I know, but you don't know why. You don't know that it has sorted them out. You think they're broken, and then all of a sudden they just start working. And I'm like, how does it even work?
There could have been a second where somebody, his helmet's made of blah blah blah, but that just didn't work out that way.
Yeah, and that might be in the next episode. Like, dude, this guy's nuts. He was overpowering us. He got in our heads. He had this metal that was able to stop our lightsabers. Like, what is going on here? that might, I don't know. There's not enough of them really to talk about that, so maybe that won't happen.
But the hard part for me after reading about it, I'm like, why didn't they just freaking use Beskar?
Because
Right?
Beskar won't short it out.
Right.
No, but you don't know that it's shorted out. Like I had to look it up.
I
You
gotcha.
know, because you've seen it before.
I didn't know. I know. I had to look it up. I had to look up what it was,
Yeah.
but I figured out what happened. Like, it didn't confuse me. Like, I was like, that is so cool. What is?
70,
And then when
I
somebody
think
said, "Court," it's court. I'm like, so.
And watchers of this show have no freaking clue what actually happened. Right?
No, I only knew of it because I looked it up too. So
Yeah, and what you're going is, oh, the lightsaber couldn't get through his helmet. Oh, I've seen the Mandalorian. It must be Beskar, right? And it's just a different color, right? So they have the same stuff. That's what I assumed it was the whole time.
Fair enough.
So, yeah. All right, continue.
So, I like the idea that I'm like watching the show, and it felt like Dota, where like the whole team's going in, and like Basil's jungling. Like, not part of it. He's just like in the jungle, like getting XP, like going out there. That's more of a joke. Never mind.
right.
No,
That's for you
I get
Dota
it.
people out there, like the zero Dota people listening to this that have any clue what I'm talking about. Did you guys catch the Kylo Ren theme?
No.
No.
Yeah, they played it like 3 different times. I thought the music was like really stepped it up a notch in this episode. Where the last couple it was a little, this was better. The Kylo Ren theme is played like almost twice throughout, and then at the end when he's above Osha, the Ren theme clearly, the 5 notes or whatever clearly play. I thought that was a nice little touch. I interested that they pulled that theme over others, but I don't know.
Why tie him to Kylo Ren?
Knights of Ren, maybe, and tying that to Sith possibly in another way. I mean, the helmet was very similar to what we saw in like those. So I don't know. Maybe there's some connection that we don't know about yet.
It also seemed rudimentary in a way. Like his gauntlet on his arm did not look like it was very well made.
The apparently the metal is super brittle.
Oh,
And that's why it doesn't get used much. But ultra rare, only found on like 1 or 2 planets in the whole known galaxy in Star Wars, and it's just not very viable for anything else other than disrupting a blaster. But it can like I think that's also like when the stun gun hit him, it absorbed it also, didn't do anything. I'm not sure. Maybe there's more to it than that, but I'm excited about the next episode now. I'm really, really excited. I was looking forward to this one because this is the one I'm like, all right, here we go. It's about to pop, and it popped way better than I was anticipating, and I really hope they keep it going. I don't think I think this is the Red Wedding. This is I don't necessarily think we're going to get anything as major as this in any of the next episodes. Maybe in the last one we get a big one, but I don't know. That one goes down. That the rest of the show could suck, and I got one really awesome half hour out of it, and cool.
I don't necessarily know if that like out of 8 episodes, one good half hour is a good metric, but
well, that's not what we got out of Phantom Menace, though.
True.
We got about 20 minutes of really good in Phantom Menace.
There are things in Phantom Menace that are cool. Like,
I think there's some cool stuff throughout this also. I mean, overall, I like the show. I'm definitely a fan of the show.
Yeah, I was thinking about it this morning. I was like, why? I mean, I get it. I get the reason why in this episode they wanted the identical twins so they could do the Parent Trap thing. But I was like thinking the whole time before this episode, before I watched it, I was like, why didn't they just make them, 2 different? Because you can have twins that aren't identical.
Well, I think that's the mistake they made was they did not use identical twins when they were young.
Yeah,
and they're obviously not identical, and now they are.
But let me ask you something, because we talk about representation, and I bring this up because there was a debate. There have been debates of like, if you have a character in a movie who is a dwarf? Do you hire a dwarf actor? Do you if somebody, I mean, granted, acting is acting, right? So the point is that you can become whoever you need to be for the role. But the question I had is, why didn't they just find two identical twin actresses?
I don't
There
know.
has to be identical twin actresses.
Maybe
out
they
there.
needed somebody that could do the stunt work and everything too, because I mean she's really athletic. You know,
Yeah, that is very true.
she's
That is very
so
true.
like I'm pretty sure martial arts trained,
Yeah.
etc.
You're-
I know she's like
you're talking
hardcore
about
Star
it-
Wars nerd too.
You're talking about as older Osha May?
Older Osha, they're both the same actress. Yes,
Yeah.
the younger ones are two
Is that
different.
what we're talking about?
Huh?
Is that what you were talking about, or you were asking why they didn't just hire identical twins?
Chuck
for
said
the-
that.
Well, I was
Yeah.
wondering why they didn't just hire identical twins, because then you could have had. I mean, it just makes things a little easier, don't you think?
I hear the Olsen twins were available, but they passed.
Yeah. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Okay, so
God, can you
again,
imagine, even if they would have knocked it out of the park, could you imagine the stuff we'd have to listen to about that? Oh my God. Anyway,
well,
back.
hey,
Okay.
so my take on the show,
Yeah.
I really thought it was awesome. I loved, like, again, there was like a couple of scenes where they're like laying in the ground and there's all that like orange dust, and I'm like, dude, I don't know if I'd be breathing that orange dust, or dude. You know, I mean, granted, you're being hunted by, a Sith, but at the
Let's
same
talk
time,
about
like,
that. What is the orange dust? Because it was supposed to be kind of some kind of symbolic thing, and it wasn't anywhere in the other episodes, as far as I know.
It wasn't. She fell last episode when Basil was right in front of her, and then Basil freaked out, and then she ran into the house. So we had that moment. And
But then it's like
we had
scooters.
the one with and then Osha trips and falls into the dust, which is all spread out, but it's spread out in the way that Smiler Ren, put the force push on everything and kind of blew it out. So maybe it was just to show the pattern. I don't know.
it was,
Maybe.
but it was also like when Osha was laying at the bottom of that tree unconscious, it was kind of falling from the tree. So like,
Yeah.
you think like his force push disturbed, like, I don't know. Whatever. It was cool. I thought it was really cool. I liked that. I liked all the battle sequence, all the fighting and everything. Question I had was, you have May, who has defeated a Jedi Master, and she's fighting Jackie, and Jackie's is not a Jedi Master. She's just a Padawan. So I felt like it was a cool fight. It was a really cool fight sequence, and everybody liked Jackie. I like Jackie. I think she's cool. But, I was like, he should be overpowering Jackie, I think. Also,
The Jedi Master, Master Trinity in the first episode,
yes.
like was taken off guard, first of all, and had her defeated, would have probably defeated her, except, the bait and switch with, almost killing the innocent people.
Got notes on it.
Yeah, so there's that part. So
Well, that was
that,
just- that was-
that's why she died. Jackie didn't have that.
I just had
And
that
Jackie might
thought.
just be a better fighter.
Maybe. I just had
Yeah.
that thought. I was like, she should be. But then the other thing, I really wondered, because she had made the decision, I'm going to turn myself in. So she goes in, finds the dead Wookiee. She's like, oh, crap. My master's here, whatever. Why does that change her position? Like, when Jackie comes in, why didn't she say, whoa, I'm not fighting you. I'm turning myself in. I'll tell you whatever you need to know. I don't want to fight this. Why did she suddenly go into, I'm going to fight?
You know what? I watched the episode a few times. This is what happens. She's there to turn herself in. She gets in there. She's like, all right, ready to turn myself in. Master has no clue I'm here. I'm in a safe spot here. I can turn myself in. It's all good. She sees, no, this isn't good. Looks outside. Master's here. I'm dead. All I'm thinking about now is escape. And all she's trying to do is escape, fight her way out, get away, whatever it takes, because This guy is going to kill everybody. He's killing all these Jedi. I'm next. He's going to kill me. There's no way out. So she's not like into like I'm switching sides anymore. She's in this fight or flight mode. Just she's in flight.
Yep.
My dog.
I agree. I think that was kind of my take on the whole thing anyways. But I think overall, the whole, like, how did Star Wars turn into Kung Fu is one of my lingering questions.
I think it always was. Wasn't it always inspired by ninja?
But it's
that's
like
probably not
gone
right. It's
full on
samurais. It was.
And that's power creep. That's all that is. It's power creep.
It's some Disney, Jeremy Piven style Disney producer in the background going, we need Kung Fu because Kung Fu sells. That, to me, it's just kind of...
No, I think we had lightsabers in the original trilogy, and those are kind of cool. We got to step it up a notch. So we have the double-sided lightsaber in the prequels. Oh, we got to step it up a notch. We got to put Yoda in there and make him do flips and jump all over the place like a Kung Fu master, wushu and everything, with the way the robes fall and all that. Oh, we got to have Anakin have double lightsabers at the end of that. Now we have to have lava, And then, now we have Kylo Ren. Let's do a crossbar on there every time. Wait till you find out what Venestra has. Have you looked up what Venestra's weapon is?
Oh, don't care.
No, you will. You will. It's gonna be a topic.
Yeah, but why do we need Kung Fu?
Dude, hey Dan, I know what it is, and we are going to be very pissed off.
Are you, or are we gonna wait and see it, and maybe it's cool?
It's gonna be dumb as shit.
They showed it. It's in one of the trailers.
It's dumb as shit. Oh well.
The focus on the Kung Fu. This is at least our third major Kung Fu fight. Right, probably four.
To be honest with you, Dan, if you look at the fight between Vader and Obi-Wan in A New Hope, it's so bad, and then you see like that fight from Phantom Menace was so awesome. Like, yes,
which had a lot of kicking in it.
I think the Jedi they train not just to fight with a saber. They fight. They train to fight with their whole body, their mind, their focus. That's why I think Yord was taken off, was so shaken because his mind was clouded. This guy clouded his mind or invaded it or somehow.
Yeah,
which was a trick that the witches had. It was definitely a trick that the witches had. The sisters even say it to each other. Or the one says, I think it was Osha. My mom did that, or my mom could do that. So I think it really points back to he was there. He was involved with the coven or watching the coven. I don't know. I think he orchestrated the whole thing, to be honest with you.
I think so, too.
All right, so when these Jedi died in this episode, Jackie and Yord, okay, first of all, I almost cheered a little bit. Like, I was like, yeah, holy crap, that's badass. But what I was missing was connection to the characters. And I feel like you have 8 episodes, you have plenty of time to develop characters. I mean, there are episodes of The Mandalorian that just feel like they're just like, why is this so long and slow? So I feel like they missed an opportunity to maybe build some of that. And I think Jackie was a very interesting character. I think she was maybe one of the more interesting characters on the show. And I would have liked to have learned more about her and maybe built some more of a relationship with, especially if she was going to go out like she did. Now, I can't speak to, there may have been more material that they just, for whatever reason, got edited out. But I don't know. I just didn't feel that. I don't feel that we're connecting with these characters the way we should. Like the whole May and Osha thing. Like, I don't care that they switch places. Like, I'm like, cool. I hope Osha does become a freaking Sith. That'd be badass.
I think the point is that the character that we're only supposed to care about is the Sith.
See, that's messed up, dude. Because he's supposed to be evil.
And that's right? This is how this is where the Sith have been. That's what the story is.
I understand that, but it's not like Puritans looking for being relief from the Church of England. he's not somebody who's being oppressed by the Jedi. He's a freaking killing machine. Like, he's evil. That's the point. We're not supposed, like, Star Wars has always been good versus the light side versus the dark side.
But this is just one chapter of it, though, right?
I know, but I think
it's not like this is like the end of it.
No, I know, but I'm saying, like, you want, maybe not you, but I know you probably don't. But I think a lot of people who watch Star Wars movies and stuff, they want the good side to win and prevail. And in this episode, when he gives his monologue, you're almost like, oh shit, these Jedi guys suck. They're like keeping him down. Yeah, why can't he just go, use the Force the way he wants? Because he's gonna go enslave people and murder people. That's what he's gonna use it for. Because that's what the Emperor used it for. That's what Plagueis wanted to use it for.
And what's the most famous character in Star Wars that everybody loves? And it gives Father's Day cards with that character on it. Darth Vader.
Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Well, he's that way because there's redemption in the end.
No, he was that way before that even.
No, but there's redemption at the end. Like, that's the whole point of, Return of the Jedi, is he redeems himself by saving his son and allowing...
Yeah, he's the one that brings balance to the Force by killing the Emperor.
Yeah. That's
it wasn't Rey with the power of 2 lightsabers?
No.
Man, I missed something.
Those last 3 movies ruin it, man. They do. They really do. So I think they ruin that particular prophecy. I don't necessarily know that they ruin all of Star Wars, but I'm just saying, like, that prophecy had such a final, like, the Emperor is gone and there's balance back to the Force, and then within 20 years the Emperor's back. That was a pretty shitty prophecy, bro.
Aren't all prophecies though?
Everybody begging for the Heir to the Empire trilogy. I mean, that was essentially the same story, right? Is the Emperor's back in 20 years.
Emperor doesn't come back in Heir to the Empire.
Yeah, he doesn't come back.
He comes back in Dark Empire and Dark Empire 2.
It's almost the exact same story, though, and it's the exact same time frame. And it's just done differently, and they didn't have to pay Timothy Zahn for anything, right? And you still got Thrawn back. So I don't know.
Yeah, but there was some there were some other things that were really, like, some really cool stuff that you couldn't really do because Mark Hamill is so much older now, and yeah, we have the technology to do a young, Luke, but it didn't quite look perfect, and people were like, because they can't freaking imagine anything.
They should have just recast him. Come on.
The other thing is, here's the other thing. Tarkin walks on the screen in freaking what is it? Rogue One, right?
Yeah.
And I'm in the theater as a guy who remembers when you couldn't do anything like that. And I'm like, holy shit, I'm like, do you see what right now? Like, I thought that was the coolest shit. Yeah, maybe it didn't look 100% perfect.
My dad was like, I thought he died.
Yeah, it was close enough to be like,
Peter Cushing's got almost like a cartoon look to him, though. Also,
yeah, he does. Well, he was an evil guy, right? Like he played like
he always played the evil guy. Yeah, I don't think he was an evil guy at all. I think he was like cool
he's
as
probably
hell.
super nice.
Yeah, yeah. But him and Christopher Lee were in like so many of those old Hammer films where they're just like chopping people up and vampires and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. If you liked that whole CGI Tarkin and CGI Luke, if you didn't have any problems with that, you're gonna love Robert Zemeckis' new movie.
Home?
What is it?
No, Here.
Here. That's what it's called. Here, I watched the trailer today.
Did you? That looked really cool, actually.
It'll be an Academy Award nominee. I'm pretty sure.
That's gonna be $1 billion movie.
I would like to see, and I've said this for a long time, and my level of nerdism is going to come out right now. But I fully believe you could go back and do an original cast Star Trek show, like movie, the original cast with voice actors, because once they're all gone, Now, granted, there's laws and stuff that they'll have to work out, but you could do an in-between film between the original series and the motion picture.
Well,
I think you could do it.
but
I
this
think it would be
this is completely what the last actors strike was about. One of the
No, I know.
main points was how do we deal with these technologies where they take your likeness, because they were like saying, hey, we'll give you $1,000 and we'll take your pictures, and we got them forever. And people are like, wait a minute, what?
Right, right. I think you would
I might not
still-
have the money, right? But it's just like the idea that somebody could
think
own your likeness for perpetuity
think-
for one price.
Yeah, I think you would. No, that is bullshit. I think you would have to pay the. So let's say you wanted to bring back a dead actor. I think you would have to pay his estate or her
Well, that's what they did with Princess Leia for the
you would
last Star
have
Wars
to do
movie.
that.
That's
Yes, exactly.
so the family was all in and said, yeah, and Peter Cushing's family was their estate was in and allowed them to use his likeness for that also.
Right, but
Yeah.
you have to still pay like an actor's wage.
Sure.
I think it has to be that fair. Just because we're recreating them digitally doesn't mean that Anyway,
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
I mean, unless
I think it'd be
Robert
kick-ass.
Downey Jr.'s like, dude, just do what you want here. You guys paid me enough already. Just use it. He
Just
goes,
recast it. That's really what you need to do. Just recast it and update it for new generation. Then you get new actors that come through. You get people to carry on a legacy versus trying to rehash a legacy, which I think are two different things. And you avoid the majority of the controversy when you do it. You're always going to get that, was this guy a better Kirk than that guy a better Kirk, or this guy better Luke than that guy? But there's plenty of good actors out there.
who is the best Superman? Blah, blah, blah. Yep. So, Dan, you did a rewatch.
I did a rewatch.
Let's
go. So I got some observations. So observation number one is the show is absolutely better watch binged. It's absolutely better. Each individual episode is just not. They're too short. There is no character development. The character development is still minute, but it does happen over episode to episode. Right. So that's my first take on rewatching the first 4 episodes. It's definitely better watched back to back to back to back to back, back to back to back to back. Yeah. So it's
I agree.
better that way. I think most of my major issues are still there, and I have a couple new ones, but I want to touch on them. So let's go back to episode 1. I think I have I think I have 2 new insights to episode 1, right? We're going to just make sure my notes are, episode 1, involving Indara. So number 1, she was not surprised that May was alive at all. In fact, she doesn't say, "You're alive." She says to May, why are you here? Like she knew that May was out there doing something.
Or did she think it was OSHA?
No, because she had looked and seen the circle, right?
Did she?
So
Did she?
It's when she reveals herself and she kind of glances up underneath the hair there. She goes, "Why are you here?" So that's number 1, right? You missed it when you took your little break. Chuck and I were talking about the easy distraction of Indara. Way too easy for a Jedi Master to be distracted for that. You knew it was set up for about 20 on-screen seconds before that. They look at each other, they make eye contact, they make eye contact with the guy down there. They look back at each other again. She flicks it, and boom, she stabs her. Everybody knew it was coming. How does the Jedi Master not know it's coming? I mean, it's just another dumb, poor writing, poor assumptions, and everybody's going to have the problem with it. It's dumb. You got to do it better. Do it differently. So let's see what else. I don't know, the whole taking out the lightsaber thing, and you only draw your lightsaber when you're ready to kill, and then I think she puts it away at that point for a little bit, and they go back to kung fu fighting. So I thought that was.
I think when I saw the part where Sol put his lightsaber away, I thought it kind of reflected back on that, where the Jedi are kind of in this state of confusion. At least these particular Jedi are in a state of confusion about where they are and where their moral boundaries are, and what they've crossed and what they've done, and like what the actual code is versus like where they're going. Because Saul was going to kill him, and that's when, you know, Kamir looks at him and says, I know I'm dealing with my darkness. What are you doing with yours? You know,
Yeah.
which was such a great line in such a part where it's just like, oh my God, I just saw this in Obi-Wan Kenobi, where Obi-Wan Kenobi has like how many times that he can actually kill Darth Vader and never does. You know, this is another one of those situations, but the line was so good of like, I know, you know, I got my darkness. I know what I'm doing with it. What are you doing with yours? That was great to make him completely reflect on every part of it. So I thought it was a little bit of an echo off of that.
There's a reason, though. There's a reason Obi-Wan doesn't kill Anakin, and it's because he has a relationship with him.
He's right.
They're like brothers at that point. You know, he's
not
not going to kill.
Not at that point. Not in the Obi-Wan series. In the Obi-Wan series, disagree.
In the Obi-Wan series, he's like. He's still trying to turn Vader back. And at the very end, he goes, well, then Anakin is lost or something like that. He finally gives up and walks away.
Yeah, I think the whole point is it's not Darth Vader isn't Anakin's failure. It's Obi-Wan's failure, right? That's how he
feels it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
in this case,
I think this also could be their failure, though. It could be similar.
It could be, but it's not like they had a relationship with this guy.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was about to go. Is it takes 5 episodes to get to just that great line, in 4 episodes of just, you know, poor narrative to get there.
I agree. I think they should have revealed him way earlier. Like they should have revealed the either that or done a better job of character creation up to that.
Yeah. Yeah, another 5-10 minutes of building up that, you know, what happened, right? Instead, I think we're going for the big bang in the last 4 episodes, right? Which should be fine. And I think it's just a shame that you got to slog through the first 4 to get to it. So, a couple other things. You know, I want to talk about Yord just for a little bit. And I know other people have talked about it. I don't think we talked about this, but Yord has a Padawan who is never seen after the being on the ship when they take Osha into custody.
The chick with the ears, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's who does the interrogation of Osha. Never see her again. Maybe we'll see her again in the next episode as she cries for Yord's death or something. But for 3 episodes, like, all of a sudden they send Yord on this mission, but he leaves the Padawan. They don't even talk about it.
They say go with a
it's like take your best. Take your best.
Yeah, they sent him with a small. They don't
talk about it. They bring Jackie, but they don't bring Yord's Padawan, right?
But maybe like Justin was saying, Jackie's more badass than, you know.
So anyway,
she seemed very wise when she would speak.
Yeah, I think she's like supposed to be counterpoint to Soul's idiocy, honestly. So anyways, Yord's like kind of thought of as this like kind of idiot, you know, in many ways. He's just like very, very robotic and almost seemed like he was going to be kind of comedic relief amongst the Jedi and everything. And I think we had this conversation a couple casts ago, where, you know, I think Justin kind of wrote it off as, oh, he's inexperienced still, blah blah blah.
No, I said he was a Boy Scout. He's Mr. By the Rules. Everything he does is by the book. Like even in the last episode where Saul pushes Osha and says civilians to the ship, he's like, civilians to the ship. This is what we're doing. Even if I have to sedate you, we're going. Everything that his master says, he's going to do to the T. And he's going to go by whatever the code is.
He also said something pretty.
So he is, you know, he
is at night.
Yeah, he's been at night for a while, for a couple of years now. Not like he was just made a knight, right?
But there's one weird thing. He said he doesn't follow he doesn't follow the rules of engagement or something. Like
he said that the Sith didn't follow the rules of engagement.
right, and I was like, in war, who follows the rules of engagement?
Mhm.
Like,
there was that
but
like in the fifth episode, there's this whole like they really do kind of trying to cram the whole rules thing down your throat. Oh, Jedi always follows the rules, and that and Chimera is constrained by the rules. He just wants to be free, blah blah blah. It's that whole law and order versus freedom kind of hiding in the background. Um, but yeah, no, I more Indara stuff, right? I didn't catch that Indara was the one that essentially kicked May out of the Jedi Order. Indara, there's a scene where they talk about Indara is the one who wanted Osha out. So
but why? Well, here's the thing. Like, if the Jedi, it just doesn't make sense to me why the Jedi would like have this fierce, like, anti-Sith. Like, okay, you can't just be out there wielding the Force however willy-nilly you want. You got to follow these rules. But yet we're going to allow Osha to just walk away?
I think there is going to be so based on a couple of the other things that I kind of came up with. I think there is going to be a deeper backstory than just the scene in the temple between Chimera and the four Jedi that came and took Osha. There is going to be something because something led them to May and Osha, and I think there's something in these last. I don't know if it's even going to be in these last 4 episodes, and maybe in some other reference material down the road. But I think there's going to be reference to them discovering something somewhere else that led them along the path of finding out about the Sith and that the Sith may still be around or something. And that they're trying to prevent that from coming back. And something led them to May and Osha. And that's just why I kind of think like Indara knows May's alive the whole time. Why are you there? And I think there's some more involvement with May and May and Indara and the 4 of them. And there's a comment in episode 5 where he goes, well, I have to hunt everybody down because they've seen my face. They know who I am, and they got to tell me, and I don't want them to know. And I think that's why he sends May after the 4 Jedi in the first place, is because they were getting onto him somehow back then, and something had been discovered that may have sent them down that path to ultimately reveal him. And I think that's why what triggered the whole start of episode 1 where she goes after the first one, right?
It's interesting.
Yeah. So I think
Very
that's
interesting.
and if you kind of take it back to like the whole when you listen to the showrunner I forget her name, but I think there's talk
Leslie Headland.
Yeah, I think there's talk in a lot of interviews with her about like she wanted to make part kind of like a crime thriller within the Star Wars universe. And if you kind of look at old, murder mysteries where there's a trail of bodies left behind, a lot of times you find out it circles back to that initial point where they're not necessarily against each other necessarily, but maybe sometimes they are together. They're partners of some sort in the past, and then the past catches up because somebody reveals something and it triggers that whole thing. That's just kind of the feeling I got. I feel like there's a whole lot more than just the temple scene going on between the 4 of them and Chimera, and I think there's more involvement after the temple scene than we know of.
Yeah, it's almost. I still feel like. I feel like Saul knew she was alive the whole time. He doesn't feel convincing when he's like, "No, she's dead. There's no way she survived." It doesn't feel convincing to me at all. I don't think he believed it.
Yeah, and then I don't want to rehash a lot of the other stuff I've already talked about. Is dumb. I did take a note that the most solid acting from the first 4 episodes is from the actress that does Osha and May as an adult. She's actually really good. And
I like her too.
She delivers her lines the best of anybody else in the show.
I think Jackie's my favorite. I think she does it the best.
She might be okay, but I think
really like Jackie and Kamir. Like,
she's overdone.
Yeah.
I think ultimately she's overdone. Am I really quiet again? I just saw your note.
No,
now you're not. Now you're not.
When you turn away from your mic, you're.
Oh, okay.
You know,
I'll stay a little closer here. Sorry, it's my first time with this mic on this here.
no,
go ahead.
No, go on, please.
There's a scene in episode 2. I think it's Soul, Vanestra, and Soul and Vanestra are talking, and May's there, and they go something about there's a disturbance on whatever planet that Torben's on, and Osha goes, "That's where Torben is. He's been there, like, what, I think they said 6 years or 10 years or something like that. How did she know he was still there? She's been gone for 6 years and hasn't talked to any of them in 6 years. How does she know Torben is still there?
I don't know.
How does Osha know this?
Because he like take a vow of silence or something, and
Yeah, but it's been 6 years. She's like, you know,
but
when
he was
she
there
sees,
for 10 years.
Yeah, so like she knows he went there, but how does she know that he's still there? Right?
I don't know.
It's another kind of a plot hole, it seems to me. You know, just like and they kind of make a thing about it there. Let's see what is here. More bad acting by the rest of the cast. Episode 3, more bad acting. So I think ultimately, you know, episode 3 did not get worse the second time through. It really didn't get better. It's just kind of dumb. And you know, I don't care that, you know, like some people would say, "Oh, it was like a borderline orgy." Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I didn't really get any of that.
Was it? I didn't get any of that.
There's a lot of
There's
comments.
no borderline orgy.
No.
No,
Like, not even close. Okay, what is dumb about it is what I want to know. Like, what is so earth-shatteringly terrible about the episode? Because they chant? Because it sounds like every church I've been into, every single Buddhist temple I've been into, I've heard a lot of chanting, and it's very similar. You know, different styles, different things.
It does not work, Justin. It just doesn't. And I think, you know, I know you tend to get stuck. Sorry if I got too far away there. I feel like you tend to get stuck on these extreme opinions, right? And I feel like
I don't feel my opinion is extreme. It's just like I don't care.
Not your opinion, other people.
Other people's extreme opinions. So like, oh, it's woke culture, the kind of rant you went on in chat the other day about people and their hatred for episode 3 and 4, right? And I understand that is just noise. That's dumb, and I know it's very loud noise. But I think what it's doing is it's drowning out a very legitimate complaint about the episode that it just doesn't work. It's just not good in the context of this show or any other Star Wars show, because it's so short and it's so just doesn't fit. It's just dumb, and it's not even done well in the context of itself. So
I don't think you could say that yet, and I'm going to tell you why. Because there's another half to it. We're going to get the rest of the flashback, and the two pieces go together.
No,
so you could say that as an episode 3 doesn't work on its own. I think that is a valid criticism. That's a valid criticism, but I don't think we can have the full story until we have the other half of it, because it might all flow together and fill in all those pieces.
I don't think there's any pieces you need to worry about, right? Yeah, are there going to be? I mean, we all know there's going to be a second flashback of what happens in the temple after the fire is set. Maybe a few things in it, but those aren't important. The whole ascension ceremony, not important at all. The way it's done, it's just so hokey and it's almost borderline laughable. The way that it is done in the context of how they built up certain things, and they didn't really follow through with anything with real substance.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
agree.
not that it's different. It's not. It's just not really done well.
So it's like Jedi rocks in Return of the Jedi.
Why are you trying to compare it to stuff?
I don't even know what the comparison is. It's more.
It's hokey. It's goofy. It's kind of out of place.
But that you're talking about like
A party going on in Jabba's palace.
Yeah, they just have this. But this is just like.
But these are force wielding people who have like an entire faith based around it, and it literally just looks like a bunch of people like gyrating wildly out in the woods.
Yeah, they're ululating
but it's just like it's
it doesn't make sense. What's the power one, power two, power three? What is that?
Not even that. It's just done so poorly. There's no substance. There's really no substance to it at its root.
It's like 5 minutes at most tops out of this. I think we've spent more time talking about it than it actually takes in the episode.
The first half of the episode, is the whole thing from the start of the tree
of the episode.
Yeah, all the way to the burning of in the testing of her, right, and then the burning of everything up until that point is just it just misses the mark all the way. It has nothing to do with, I mean, if you're going to do it like some kind of dance or whatever, like it has to have a point. All of those things have to have a point. There's no point to it all. It's like going to under the sea with Jar Jar and meeting Boss Nass and having all of these other things that could have been cool and could have had substance, but it just misses the mark all the way, right? And I think it's done the same way. It's ultimately it's more, the whole point of that is to show there's a family of the two moms and the two daughters. Nobody agrees. May wants to continue to be a witch, and Osha wants to go the other way. And then something bad happens. It's like 10, 15 minutes of crap. It's just not done well at all. It should have been done. They should have put more thought into it and done it different. Give it another 20 minutes to really build up the religion, if you want to focus on the religion and the witches or anything, because none of that stuff is really important at this point. Maybe there'll be some context of the witches in relation to Chimera or something, but it's going to have to be a hell of a freaking callback to make that other part of that episode work. But I don't think they're going to do that. I think it's going to be a real quick, brief reference of showing Chimera following along somehow and being involved in the temple fire and the deaths of the witches somehow. But the whole rest of the culture of the witches and everything, it's just it doesn't work. It really does not work.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
It's one of those things I don't care. Like, it's it's a throwaway part for me. Like, it doesn't. But
there's
you should care.
There's like nothing in it that is enough to get me worked up about it and hate it. There's like nothing in there that I'm like, oh, this is so dumb, I can't believe it. It's like when I could talk about so many other dumb things, it's just a thing to me. I don't know. I had no. It was like very. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to say that I'm defending it because I don't even care to defend it.
No, but you have been defending it because
I've been defending the show, and I've been defending the fact that you can't make the criticisms until it's complete all the way. Like, you can say things up to a certain point, but it's like until everything is finished. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel very vindicated with this last episode.
I wouldn't.
In a lot of ways, where I'm just like, they led up to a lot of things and it had a pretty good payoff, quite a bit of it. Where
Yeah, I'm not with you on it yet. They has to the last three have to be super strong the same way in order to vindicate the first four.
I honestly, I think you hit it on the head when you said that it's better watched binged. If they would have just dumped all the episodes right away,
Yep.
this may not be as. I think it still would be.
we wouldn't have a podcast.
I think it still would be.
We wouldn't.
What
wouldn't
do you
have.
mean? We would have.
We wouldn't have the controversy and the discussions week to week, though. That's the difference.
Yeah, but that's the
So
point.
I like it.
No,
Only if
no,
they cover it
I
as
don't.
a binge.
I don't really like it because you're right. Justin, you're absolutely right that we're nitpicking episodes, without knowing if they're going to tie back. And yes, when you said that, May didn't start the fire, she was, somebody was in her brain or whatever. I thought you were like, I'm like, that's a stretch. And then this episode, clearly he was alluding to that. That's exactly what happened. So, I mean, I'm assuming you've probably know the entire story already to have pulled that one out, because
No.
I did not see that coming.
I thought it was absolutely obvious.
I thought she turned to the dark side.
I thought it was completely obvious what I said. I was stunned that you were fighting me on that, Chuck.
I don't think it's obvious at all that there's somebody else who started the fire.
No. It was obvious that I said we could not tell that it was May that started that fire. There was no, other than she burned the book, there is no indication that she did the rest of that.
But it was okay. There were a couple of things. It was really weird the way she turned all of a sudden and was like, "I'm just going to kill you and burn the place down." That was jarring. I remember noticing that it was jarring.
But now we have a place that jarring can come from.
So look, the problem with the series, right, is that even with the second rewatch, it is very Phantom Menace ishy. I don't know. It's very much similar to Phantom Menace, right? It's like, boom, hey, we're gonna run over to this planet. We're gonna try and save this Jedi. Oh, too bad, we can't. We failed. We're gonna go catch him here. Then boom, we're gonna go over here. And then we're gonna go over here. It's a lot of hurry up and go. And there's not a lot of subplot building and character development. And then all of a sudden we're expected to make the leap that, hey, there's this flashback, and we're supposed to all of a sudden buy that it is much smarter than it has been, that May didn't start the fire.
I was just going by what talent they had that made it, because she was
okay.
pretty good at constructing
in the
narratives.
Context of a viewer viewing a piece of film or a show, do you expect your common viewer to understand that? I mean, it's like,
I didn't think it was that difficult. I don't know.
I agree. I agree with Dan. I've up until this point, I had no hope in the writers. I thought they were subpar at best.
It's one of those things where before that, there's so much jumping around and there's so much assumption made left and right all over the place, and the show is expecting you to buy it all.
But at the same time, it winked at you at every occasion.
No, it's not.
It was saying.
No, it wasn't saying that. You're hoping that it would say that when you got to that point into that scene, right? You know a little bit more about some of the work that they've done elsewhere. And what I'm just saying is that the build up to that point doesn't build. You get to that point, and then if you're smart enough, maybe you figure that out. And if that's what happens, that's what happens. I don't think it's a stretch to understand that. It could be a possibility, and it could be a possibility. There's probably 5 or 6 different good possibilities, and 2 or 3 of them probably work. But getting to that point, I don't think there's a track record in the show that says, yeah, we're this smart, we're going to get there, just bear with us. Like you made the analogy last week, of what is it, Knives Out, right? the Knives Out, series of movies that are coming out. It's like boom, boom, boom. We got a lot of twists and turns and blah blah blah. Then we're going to reveal. They have the big reveal, and a lot of times it's all stuff you didn't get to know beforehand, but you're expecting it to come because you know there's going to be a twist. Nobody's expecting that twist to be that in the first 3 episodes, right? It's not like it's this cohesiveness that's coming and building, and then we're going, hey, it's like the Clue movie. Hey, we're gonna lead you through and show you how everything happened, right? Nobody's expecting. It's a Star Wars show,
but episode 3 was so disjointed in certain parts of it that you knew that there was another side to it. You're only getting one perspective. It was like the way it was edited was like very like I don't know. These seem to be like classic cinema like triggers, such as burns the book. All of a sudden, the way the fires come, it's just like when things don't seem to make sense. Instead of going, this is dumb, I went with why, and it's just like some people said, oh, this is just stupid because why does it, instead of just asking the question why, and
but it doesn't work.
The writing is abysmal because, and I'll say,
I disagree.
And the reason, and the reason is because you're not leading the audience. Like you see these shows like Dan's favorite show, NCIS. They always the audience knows.
Don't know. I would say favorite,
right?
But it is.
I'm just throwing this out. I'm just saying, like the audience always knows before the team who the bad guy is. It makes the audience.
I don't want shows like this.
Smart. Okay, here's the thing. If you claim that 3rd episode was all about a single point of view, there's a way to shoot that. There's a way to tell that story and get that across to the viewer that you're seeing a small portion. Okay, that was not done in that episode. That episode clearly looked like she started that fire. It looked like the stone was on fire. It did. There was no question in my mind that's not what happened.
Yeah, and the way like the screams happen up above, how everybody's laying in a pile. Fire didn't kill them. They were all dead in a fire.
No,
fire killed them.
Said,
it shows a
clearly
pile,
that part.
And all of a sudden, when Soul comes running through, like, we got to get out of here.
Can you put a fire hat on me digitally or something? I'll put my fireman's hat. The fire doesn't kill most people in fires. It's the smoke inhalation.
But there wasn't even fire in the area.
No,
there was only fire.
No, there was fire. When they cut from her crawling out the thing, out the pipe or whatever into the other room, there's an overhead shot of fire falling all through the caverns.
It's a cavern. That cavern's so big, there's enough oxygen. Nobody's going to die smoking.
Oh man, I almost went somewhere else.
That's not how fire works, Justin. Like,
so here's
it uses up all the oxygen.
Here's the problem.
It was too much air. It's too huge of an area. It wasn't that big of a fire.
There's no consistency in the storytelling of the show. As awesome of an episode as episode 5 is, it doesn't match the rest of the series at all. Not one bit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the problem with the show.
In good writing, you establish rules and follow those rules. And in this, there's none of that.
What rule is broken?
There's no rules established. You have like it's complete anarchy the whole time. Mm-hmm. Soul seems like he's like changing his mind every 5 seconds. There's nothing.
Yeah, it is overall mediocre. It's mediocre bridge building between episodes. It's just, and then
I think you could
really, really good episode.
I think you could re-edit this into a fairly decent movie, but as a episodic, it's not working.
Yep.
But here's the other thing, Dan. In Justin's defense, I would like to point out that we've had 30 years. No, wait. I'm sorry, 40 years. Ooh, maybe more than that, actually. To literally nitpick every frickin' frame of the original Star Wars movie.
Which,
when you the first time you watched it, you didn't know who Luke was, you didn't know who Biggs was, you didn't know any of that shit. Like we only know that shit now because we've watched it a billion times. We've watched all the cutscenes. We've read every book. So, yes, I was the one that said there is no character building in this. But can we really compare it to something that we've been consuming for 40 years?
These are all new characters. This is an all new
All new thing.
timeline, an all new everything.
So-
I think people have been people are very quick to jump to like all the conclusions, and like to me, like the verdict is not out on the show yet. Right now, I have a strong feeling it's going to end well, and I really hope it does. I want it to be good. I really want it to be good. That's part of it too. So I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt on a lot of these things also. But also I know it's a genre film. And so they've done now Star Wars as a Western. They've done Star Wars as a horror movie with some of the zombie stuff. They do these things. This is Star Wars as a whodunit and more of a mystery story. So it just seems to make a lot of sense that this is kind of the way it's going, and they're very purposeful in giving us information that they want to give us and holding back on information. And if it sticks the landing, it could be one of the best things that Star Wars has ever put out.
Oof, I don't know if I would say
Oh
that.
yeah, absolutely. I absolutely think it could as a standalone story. Sure.
No, so number one, when I go into watching a show, there's one main exception that I really think that, like there's one show I can think of that I really, really, really wanted it to work. Only one, and that was Fallout. And it hit a freaking home run, right? That was probably the only show I know that I'm like, this has got to work. I really, 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 really want it to work. Most things I go in, movies are entertainment for me. I go in, I want to have fun. Whether I wouldn't go see Schindler's List and because I want to have fun. That something like that would be different. But Star Wars is supposed to be fun. Star Wars is a kids show, always. Andor and Rogue One are the exception, and probably Empire Strikes Back. But it's a kid movie. It's a kid show, always, 100%. I went and watched Chuck's video of the George Lucas interview from the Cannes Film Festival. Like one of the first things that you had me start watching at like 1 hour and 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first thing he says about responding to the criticism of all the people watching, and George Lucas is credited as a writer on Acolyte because he's part of the show running here, is it's a kids show, a kids movie. It's meant for kids between the age of 8 and 16. I think those are the ages he said there. That's been the objective since day one, right? So anyways, when I go in to watch something, I want to have fun. If it gets me to the fun point, cool. If it doesn't, cool. And I'm being critical, but I'm trying to be objective also. The original Star Wars movies, I don't think all of them are great. I think they were great when I was 8, 10, and 12 when I first saw them. But I was 8, 10, and 12. My impression of what was great then was not good. This other show, I like that stupid ass dinosaur show that was on ABC or whatever it was, where they're all the dinosaurs and the big puppet.
Yep, yeah.
I thought that was the best thing. I thought Alf was the best thing.
Alf, yeah.
The stuff that I watched did not age well. Star Wars
you had some pretty bad taste, Dan.
I mean, we all did. We're 8, 10, and 12. Right? It's
Alf?
really hard to be.
I watched Alf. Shut up.
I watched what did I watch when I was a kid? Buck Rogers, Battlestar Galactica, and Lost in Space.
Dude,
And the original Star Trek. That's all I watched.
I just watched
science
I
fiction
watched Full
stuff.
Metal Jacket on repeat.
dude.
I was like 14 when I watched that.
Yeah, when I got older, I got better at being selective about.
But I mean, I get wanting to be entertained, but I want to be challenged also. I want to think. I want to think when I listen to music. I want to think when I read a book. I want to think when I watch something. I just don't want to ever have to turn my brain off and watch something. I hate it when people are like, "Oh, it's a popcorn movie. Just turn off your brain and watch it." It's like, no, you can have both of these things. You can challenge, you can entertain, and you can be smart about it. You can do things. Kids are really liking the Acolyte. Like from like the things that I've been reading, it's just like a lot of the kids that I'm talking to are like, it's so much fun. They love it. They love the characters. They love
Phantom
young Jedis
and-
running around.
Kids love the prequels. We were kids and we loved the original Star Wars and Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back. I mean, overwhelmingly, people say Empire Strikes Back's the best one, and it's the darkest one of all of the original three. It keeps its theme throughout. It's steadiest storytelling. It's got action. The scenes in between the action are well scripted and well acted. It's by far the best of the three. And it's the one that holds up the
It
best.
is Chuck. Chuck, I know you're like going to jump on it. It is. Chuck.
It is.
No,
right?
I want to say that I just spoke to someone who's much younger than me, who thinks the third movie, which would be the sixth movie,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah,
Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith was the best movie.
That's what my kids will tell you too.
And he said this to me, and I was like, God, that movie's horrendous.
No, I think Revenge of the Sith is great.
I
love Revenge of the Sith.
I think it's so badly written, dude.
I enjoy all three of the prequels for what they are. I enjoy all three of the new movies. I like them. I have fun with them. I try not to overthink them. I understand where they are. You guys don't. I think there's a large majority of people who don't like the new three. My 12-year-old loves the new three movies. He's 12. It hits all the important things. The Acolyte, it's gonna hit. It's got kung fu. It's got some lightsaber scenes. I mean, most kids are. We see the content that you really young.
And they got the beaver guy. The little beaver guy is so funny.
My
That's
favorite.
not for the kids.
And that little
That's for me.
droid.
No, that guy's for me. The Basil's
That's
for me.
you and Jana. But I can tell you, I'm going to show Jana episode 5, and she's not going to watch another one. She will not watch it after Jackie dies and Jor dies. She will not watch another one.
Minnie walked in the room and she's like, "Huh, you're right. It was that guy," and then walked out. She was working on homework, so
My
she's like,
my wife
"You
is
were right. It is
watching.
that guy."
My wife is watching it with me, and she does not think it's done very well.
Jana
But
likes it.
I
but
think
she
I-
won't watch it again because those would be probably our two of her favorite characters, and they killed them off. And she has a history of she won't watch it once they kill. She stopped watching Lost after Charlie died. Like,
Oh hell
literally,
yeah, yeah. I mean, I can see that. I can
and
see
I'm
that.
never fucking watching this again.
Who was Charlie? Who's Charlie? I can't remember Charlie.
The drug dude, the guy from the
Yeah,
band.
the boat. It's not Penny's boat.
Dominic,
Not Penny's
what's his
boat.
name?
Hey, you know what? I stopped watching The Walking Dead when they killed Beth off. I was like, this show sucks.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, okay, that's what I was thinking about. No, it was when they it's when they killed the guy from Beef. What's his name?
Beef?
Yeah,
Beef?
in Walking Dead, Asian guy. He was my favorite character in the show.
Oh, yeah.
crap. I can't remember his name in the show. He's like a super famous actor right now. He's the voice of Invincible. He was supposed to be Sentry in the Marvel movies.
Yeah, Negan kills him, right?
Yeah, that was my last. That was I'm like, I'm done with this show.
I didn't even get to that point.
Oh,
we got-
man.
If you're all into payoffs, apparently the payoff is amazing because this last episode, the season of the new, when Rick comes back with Michonne is supposed to be fucking
Don't care. Don't care.
Do not care.
Don't care. Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
that's kind of how I am with these last 3 episodes of Acolyte.
Hey,
I'm not going to care all that much,
I'm almost wondering if maybe we've aged out of fucking Star Wars. Like maybe we're just too old. I mean, because we're so like nitpicky about it. Like that little droid thing, I can't even tell you how much that thing annoys me. I hate it so much.
No,
And I'm like
Dan is like so on point right now with what he's talking about and where he's coming from, because he's coming from a place where, we're putting a stage up on this screen right here or in people's ears right now for fun to talk about this stuff. But none of it's really bugging him that much. And none of it really bugs me that much. So, like, when you get mad about that little pip droid, like, I don't know. I don't really, I never get mad about anything in Star Wars. Except for the J.J. Abrams stuff, which I had my peace with a few episodes ago. I talked it all out. I've made my peace with episode 9. I've said my part, and I refuse to be negative about things. So that's part of it.
Bullshit! You refuse to be negative about things. Get out of here.
Mostly Star Wars. I won't be negative.
I don't know why that droid annoys me, but he does. And the beaver guy, I get it.
I love the
I
fact
guess-
that he was pulled out of one of the original Han Solo novels.
Oh, really?
You remember like the old like stories of like Lando and Han Solo that they had the novels of?
Yeah.
That species, that creature was pulled out of one of those books.
Oh, that's really cool.
And so that's like part of why I think I'm like, that's cool. That's another thing pulled from Legends, dropped in now to become canon. And I like that. That's fun.
Yeah, I thought there was some other reference to that species too, somewhere maybe in.
There might be, yeah. There might be.
I think it might be in the Old Republic in Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh, could be. You know what? I downloaded the Old Republic.
Wicket.
The MMO.
The Ewok Wicket in an interview actually said, "Hey, we're not the lamest character in Star Wars. There's this beaver guy. You gotta see the beaver guy."
And the beaver guy goes, "Let me introduce you to a Gungan."
Oh, sheesh. Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
Anyway,
that's true.
so we got 3 more of these to talk about.
Beaver Guy is actually way better than Jar Jar. So
Yeah. I like
Team
Beaver Guy. Beaver Guy's fine.
What's his name? His
Basil?
name?
Basil?
Basil.
Yeah. You call
Basil.
him Beaver Guy. I've been calling Basil the whole day. So anyway,
I don't know that he's a. Yeah, I'm sorry.
we got 3 more of these. So we got 3 more weeks of talking about it, and then we're done for a while. So then we'll talk about something else. But
I'm going to call him Basil Exposition, which is the boss from Austin Powers.
yeah, he's the boss. Basil, and he's on the screen on the car. Yeah, that's Basil.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
What's his last name? Exposition.
Exposition.
I didn't know
Right.
that it was Exposition. I just remember Basil. That's good. That's really good. Anyway,
Yep. That was very fun.
I think we wrap this right now. What do you guys think?
Yeah, we gone for a long time here.
Oh, did we? Oh shit, we did.
Yeah, it's been not as long as it's not our longest. This will not be our longest podcast, but it's going to be a longer.
Oh, I
one.
feel bad though for people who had to listen to it.
Nah, I disagree.
They
If
gotta
they've gotten
wait
this
for
far,
the
they're
payoff.
in. If people are still listening right now to us talk, they're in for the long haul. They like us at this point.
Yeah.
I think they feel at home. We're comfort food at this point.
We should cut this into 8 episodes.
8 episodes.
Make each one like 5 minutes long and just like cut it like right in the middle of somebody's really good point and then stop it right there and then pick up, but not pick up exactly there. Have to wait a couple minutes to get back into it. Yeah.
Hey, just a quick aside. Do you think Fallout would have suffered if it was week to week?
No, I think it would have been stronger.
I disagree. I
So
disagree.
here's what I will tell you.
They screwed up. They screwed up and they regret not doing it week to week.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
It's
every
gone.
episode
It's out of the.
kinda,
They dropped it, and it was already out of the world, and it got such rave reviews that it fell out of the conscious of the public in a month, where they could have stretched it out to have 2-3 months, and they didn't.
That's a
And
good point, good
that's
point.
where
It
That's where it hurts them.
It has not fallen out of the conscious. In fact, I thought we would have talked about some of the news last week and this week. We're gonna get Fallout Season 2 probably before the end of the year.
and
No
I won't be
way.
surprised if it's week by week.
I swear to God,
Okay,
they reused. They did not tear down the sets.
good.
They kept everything, all of the assets in place, and they're already doing
Just like a Bethesda game
that's
engine,
awesome.
yeah,
Don't
fix any bugs. Just roll with
leave
it.
it. Just
roll with it.
That's how it works. Just go.
Just
Just click past it. You'll get. It'll work. Yeah.
All right.
No, that's good news. But I'll be curious to see if they go week by week or if they dump them all at once.
And what if the Rings of Power came all at once as well?
Nope, it was every week, and like Invincible was every week.
You know what?
It's like they mix it up, and there's no rhyme or reason.
I think we got the first 4 episodes of Rings of Power together.
Maybe it was. Yeah,
Yeah, I
maybe
think it was like that. Yeah.
Which
I didn't watch that. Was it any good?
No, I didn't watch it either.
Yes,
I want to watch it, but I heard it was.
it's okay. I mean, there's some really good stuff in there, but there's that really. So it's kind of the opposite of Acolyte, to actually do some decent character development of major characters for the the original trilogy and The Hobbit. And then there's some new content in there that's not done very well in with how much money they spent on it. Some of the sets are just like you keep saying, where'd that $180 million go, or whatever it was. You're like, it's like they were touting it as the first $1 billion TV show. It's like, where did the $1 billion go in this episode, right? So some of the sets, it's like, oh, hey, that was shot in Southern California, whatever was shot, right? But yeah, no, it was decent. Don't go in expecting to see the trilogy, but season 2 of it's coming very, very soon. So
Cool.
The Bear just came out tonight.
never seen it yet.
Dude,
Seen clips.
Bear might be one of the best things going on television all time. It's an all-timer.
I got 2 shows I gotta finish. I gotta finish Sugar, and I gotta finish Tokyo Vice. So
I would like to see both of those. I do not have the ways to watch them right now. I'll tell you what I did watch this week, though, and it's going to bring us back. I'm just saying it real quick before we get out of here. But along with The Acolyte, I did watch the entirety of season 3 of The Mandalorian, as well as the Book of Boba Fett and Solo.
Holy shit, you've been busy this week.
Oh, I like.
I like Solo. I liked it when I watched it.
The worst of the 3 is definitely still Boba Fett, but Solo it's really good. It's really, really good. Highly underrated. But anyway, anything else?
No,
I gotta get up in like 6 hours to work, so
all right.
I got
a 6.5-hour drive tomorrow to Nashville for a baseball tournament. So
Oh, have fun in Nashville.
Serious?
Glory out here.
Dude. All right, here we go.
He's gonna be the